Everybody, welcome back to this. Yep.
What were you trying to say?
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Picture Day post show where we are all dressed up for our picture day.
Our school photo day.
Yeah.
This little boy, his mom told him he was probably like 6 or 7 to not take his mask off at school unless he was eating. Like that was the only reason, eating or drinking. So then he went for picture day. And then he left his mask on even though the guy told him he could take it off, and he was like, no, my mom said I'm not supposed to take it off. So his school, and she didn't know that until she got, you have to like get the photos back after like a couple weeks, and she like got them, and she was like, why are you wearing your mask? And he was like, you told me to never take it off. Isn't that cute? Hey everybody, welcome back to the post show at the host shows at the Mo shows. Mo.
And Zoe.
Here we are, back together again.
It's been 2 months, essentially.
Yep, just 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But
no, it's been longer.
No, but it wasn't. Oh, because you were gone first.
We played, if you really paid attention to the last week's post show, at the end I said, we're playing War on the Worlds Carmen San Diego, but with Johanna and Willie. And if you could guess where they were at that moment, you get an in-person high five from me. And as of earlier, nobody guessed.
Well, I'll give everybody a hint. We were in a state.
Wow.
On the East Coast.
And then I said, if you could guess where I was, you get in-person high five.
Also in a state.
I was in multiple states.
Well, we were really going to talk about sin.
Yeah. The
Our
deepest, darkest
sins.
The ones
Zach's going to go first, actually.
The ones that just eat us alive.
No, but in all seriousness, Levi did talk about sin. He's really been just going at it hard in the sermons. We had God's wrath.
Yep. A great
some
one.
Other things, and then sin.
He's really wanted to hit all of those like big subjects. So really, like, if this is your first time coming to Awaken, we should probably put like a sign that says, hey, this is gonna kind of be a feel-good message, but like,
or like a light board with different colors, from like red to green and yellow,
of like intensity.
Give people a little warning.
Yeah, red's the wrath of God. Yeah.
Anyways, I thought it would be fun though for me to share one of my deepest, darkest sins from my high school days. You probably don't know the story about me, Zach, but when I was in high school, and this has a point, not just for me to confess my sins, because this has already been confessed. I liked a boy in high school. I know, really controversial. And my parents did not like said boy. Classic teen girl story.
Yep, so you would like him even more.
Yes. But one time, my parents were out of town, and my brother, who was an adult, was living at my parents' house, and therefore taking care of also me, who was also an adult, but in high school. And I went over to said boy's house after they told me I wasn't allowed to, just to drop something off, really. And then I got caught by my brother, who showed up, and it was really embarrassing. And I thought, when my parents get home from this trip this weekend, like, this is gonna be the worst punishment I've ever received, is whatever happens based off of me not listening to them and going to his house. And I remember them calling me into their room and sitting me down, and they just said, so your punishment is that you are not allowed to drive your car for a week.
Wow.
Because the act was, I drove my car, so they thought that was like fitting. And I remember thinking in my head, I got away with something big. Like, that is not a big punishment at all. I wasn't grounded, I could still go do whatever I wanted. I just physically could not drive myself there for a week. Other people could drive my car.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. And so I bring this up because Levi, towards the beginning of his sermon, was talking about how as a society, and I think he was meaning it not just within the Christian culture, but in general, like, we want like to receive all the grace. Like, we think we deserve that, and we think that is like some type of right, that we get to have grace, and people have to forgive us, and we have to, be able to skirt responsibilities and punishments. And it made me think that, like, I am not like that, and I think that there is a whole other. The flip side of that argument are people that really have trouble accepting grace and have trouble accepting the free gift of God, or like the free gift of what I thought was like not a big punishment from my parents.
Yeah.
Where do you think you fall?
Yeah, I think in the past there have been definitely times where I've been like, no, like, I deserve more than that. Like, I always remember as a kid, whenever I would get put in timeout, like, I'd be sent up to my room, and my parents would be like, all right, you're gonna be there for 15 minutes or whatever. And I would go up there, and I would be like, they would yell up like 15 minutes is up. I'm like, no, I need to stay here for 10 more minutes. Like,
imagine little Zach sitting on a little chair.
Yeah. I would just like, I need to sit here for 10 more minutes. And then 20 seconds later, I'd be like, no, I'm good. So I like went downstairs. But growing up, like, I feel like there has definitely been times in my life where it depends on the circumstance of it.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, is this something that I'm going to like I really need to work through of like really receiving the grace because I feel like I really, really messed up? Or is it something that I've just been like, oh, yeah, light bulb, boom, I like need to receive this grace and I'm willing to receive it because I've like acknowledged of my like faultiness inside me, which I think is the biggest thing of like, do I want to accept that like I'm not perfect in a way?
Yeah, I think that brings up a good point is that you can like change your mentality or your attitude towards grace throughout your entire life because we're humans and we're not going to perfectly understand or accept God's grace for us, even though it is perfect coming from Him. That like there can be times and moments and seasons where you are like really fully accepting God's grace and not in a way that's making you feel like you can keep sinning, like Levi was saying about like God's glory like being shown more if we just keep sinning, like that whole mentality. It's not that, it's a true acceptance of, you know, I am seeing what I've done wrong and I'm also accepting that you love me anyways. And so I think it's interesting to think about like that we can change over the course of our life and that also it's important to recognize where you're at and work through it on either side of the spectrum.
I agree. Like that is just something that like the realization of, okay, where am I in this situation? Like how, like I've heard of God's grace being given to me, but is it something I truly want to accept? Because do I want to invite that into my life? So
we would encourage you to think about that this week. Think about where you're at. Think about what you might need to work through with God, and also maybe bring a friend into that. Ask them. I feel like friends are really good at speaking into you about where you're at.
It's very
maybe
powerful.
If you don't know, they can help shed some light on that for you. So we encourage you to do that, and we will see you next week.
See you guys. Love you guys.